No, these are the Bud
Oh,
Light
okay.
seltzers. Have you had these ones yet?
No, how are they?
Dude, they're actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like the original. Oh, I did like the original Bud Light, but then I had a change of heart and didn't think they were that good. Then these ones came out. Flavor is on point. I mean, they're really like the lemonade one specifically. I want them to come out with like just a straight pack of just Bud Light lemonades. Those are fire. Like it just tastes like bubbly lemonade with like alcohol. Next thing you know, you're just like drunk. But they are like the black cherry to strawberry. I think strawberry is my least favorite, and of course I grabbed one by accident. But um, they're a little strong, a little bit on the strong side. A little bit on the strong side. What do you got over there? What you got? Michelob?
Yeah, just a mix.
Mixer good. Mixer very light beer, but like it tastes good.
Yeah,
It tastes good.
it keeps me from not drinking liquor tonight.
It's a Monday. We can't get too wild. Can't get too wild on the show. It's Mick Ultras were actually one of the first beers I liked. They're actually like the cheapest beer I'll go. I'm very picky when it comes to beer. I'm like super into craft beers and stuff. But Michelob Ultra, it was one of the few beers that I liked and would go buy at the store. It sounds really weird. I used to like only do Michelob Ultra. Like I remember my friends would go buy Coors and stuff like that, and I'd just buy a case of Michelob's and be like, or mix, whatever you want to call them. That's what I would do. Case of mix. Maybe get a little crossed with them. Just saying, there's potential there. Get a little flavorful with your beer. Do you like craft
Yeah.
beer?
Um, I don't know. I'm not really like a big beer person.
Do you ever gone like to breweries and stuff?
I've gone to a few.
Where?
No, probably more my wineries than uh
Ooh,
yeah. Yeah,
wineries. Where at? Where are those at? Where'd you go to wineries at?
so there's one here in town. It's called Beach Haven. It's
Okay.
actually pretty good. It's a little more on the pricey side, but I mean, it's the closest winery that's outside of Nashville.
And what do you? 'Cause I've never been to a winery. So like, when you go to the winery, what are you doing there? You're what like? There like taste testing, or is it kind of like a regular bar where they have just a bunch of bottles of wine and they just pour?
So
Like,
it's a
how does
little
this
bit of
work? I have no idea.
yeah. So okay, so it's a little bit of both. So I don't know if this is like a universal system that they do, but they did have the bottles behind them, kind of in a bar setup.
Okay.
You would be you would go through the list and you'd be like I want these three for my first like because it's a palette
They
is
call it a
what
pallet. Okay.
yeah. So once you do I think I did six like in total. So I did the first three, you pick three and then they bring it out and it's only like a half glass of wine,
Yeah.
probably not even half. Um, and then you have the option to like either buy whatever bottle of wine that you like specifically, and then just take it back to your table. And then
Oh.
like there's some like outdoor scenery stuff that you can go outside and do. Generally, they have live music. I don't know about recently.
Yeah, COVID and all that. That'd be cool though. So you get to like taste test a bunch of wines, then you can go like, "Oh, I want that whole bottle," and they just give
Yeah,
you the whole bottle, and you're like just chilling at that point.
yeah.
I feel like most people get pretty drunk off a bottle of wine.
Uh, mm, well, I mean, between two people, depending on like how big the bottle is specifically, yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
it varies between two people, but I think like one bottle to yourself, like you're feeling pretty good. Like you're
oh,
feeling, if
exactly.
not beyond, like especially if it's a big bottle. Oh my god, the funniest thing is when like girls get a big bottle of wine and they get like the big double one, and they're like, I'm gonna finish all of it," and they do, and they're just that wine drunk where they're like, yeah.
I remember it was this past or not, yeah, not this past Los Angeles, but 2019. Um, I brought because I got there on Wednesday
Yeah, you
for
got the
like the
pre-party,
premiere.
pre-party.
Yeah, so I was there a whole day just to set up, chill out, and I bought two box wines.
Ooh.
And on the first night, I was down like half a bag. Just like walking, yeah, just walking around the campsite and just like meeting everybody who was like within the general vicinity.
Yeah. Everyone's slapping the bag and shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dude. I remember going into Los Angeles that year, and I remember they weren't. which I don't know why people would try to sneak in the wine bags or whatever. I remember walking up through the front gate and there were people waiting there, like groups of people, like I remember people being like, "We need help finishing it. Like, who wants in? Who wants in?" Like, when they were just letting anybody just smack. Like, dude, shit, we could not get away with now in front of COVID, but like,
No,
dead
no,
ass, like
yeah,
they're in front of the like people were just huddled together and they're like, "Ooh," they're like putting it in their mouth. They're like, "Ah," and they're like, "Who wants it? Who wants next? We need to help finish this whole bag." And it's like a full bag of wine. People are just walking up, slapping it, and going. And they'd be like, "Woo!" And they go in the festival.
this is fucking
Dude, this shit
yeah,
we
we're
did,
wrong.
like, it's so funny to think about that. Like the shit before the pandemic. Like, have you ever sat during the pandemic and been like,
Oh yeah,
"Oh, dude, I've done some nasty." Like, you don't even at the time you're like, "That's not nasty." Like everyone's doing it, but then like you look back and you're like, "Wow, like that's probably how I got strep that one time." Like,
I,
I think that's
you're like,
probably how I
wow,
got sick.
yeah. So this is how COVID started. You just look back at everything.
Oh my god, dude, it,
Just
it
those
makes sense.
polygons alone.
It makes sense how like it could spread so quick. Like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, if they didn't like make us lock down, it could have been so much worse. Like it really could have been. And we did like a partial shutdown here. It could have been so much worse if we didn't shut down at all. Have you ever gotten sick at a festival? Like from a festival, like you go home and then you're just like
Um,
dead.
I want to say Los Angeles 2018 definitely because it was like super dry
Mm-hmm.
up until like the day we were leaving. That's when it
And that
rained.
monsoon came, dude.
Yeah, it was just nothing but dirt and just like I could not breathe for like the next week and a half.
Yeah, I didn't get sick at either Lost Lands. I did get sick at Buku after
Did
Buku.
you?
Oh, dude, I was dead after Buku. I had like I had like strep basically. I can't remember if I had strep or if like I had a mono relapse where I was just like I couldn't swallow, I couldn't get up. I was just sick as fuck for like 5 days. This is so bad. And I what's funny is I can literally precisely figure out like I know for a fact who probably got me sick. Like I know it was like I shared like a pen with somebody. Like I hit a fucking jewel with somebody, and it was some random person and I was just like, yeah, man, like go for it. And he did. And then I just know it was him, bro. I just know there was no one else that took a hit after that. It was just me. I was dead. Like it was me. It's all so nasty. I feel like
Um,
now we're gonna go back and be like, yeah, I'm not sharing shit. Like
yeah,
unless I immediately know you, you know?
I don't know.
Even then it's like kind of hard because it's like, oh, I know him, but then like he knows 12 people that I don't know, you know? It's like, oh, fuck, I wasn't really good.
Well, so okay, and it's kind of funny too because now that you mentioned that, like I remember uh the last Los Angeles we went to, like there was a chick who was like fumbling around, clearly on some shit, and
I love
she was trying to drink. Like I was sitting there watching her like it was a zoo exhibit, and like
it.
she's trying to drink water out of her bag, but her bag doesn't have any water in it.
Oh,
So
just
I
empty.
walked over to her and I'm like, here, like here's water, and she like chugs. I swear to God, she chugs half the bag,
Oh,
maybe in 5 seconds,
that's
and then
impressive.
like you know lets go of her death grip from like goddamn nozzle, and then just like looks at me, takes 2 steps, and then pukes all the water.
Oh, that's disgusting,
I'm
bro.
like, yo,
Dude, I would have,
that's a waste of water.
bro, I'd have thrown my bag away.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. You look at that situation, and then you look at now, and you're like,
Ah,
oh fuck no.
dude, not a chance. Dude, I would
Like
have
people
thrown
die.
my whole water bag away. There was not a doubt in my mind I wouldn't have thrown it away. Like, not
So
a doubt in my mind.
I took the little suction thing off. I just took it off and kept the little so it was literally just the hose and the clamp. And by the end of the day, it was already fucked because there's so much dirt and shit inside of it. I was like, no. So
Dude,
yeah,
no, that is something I absolutely. I know it's not. Everyone throws up, whatever. I get it. I don't like it. I hate throwing up myself. I hate seeing it. Anything about it, I'm like, I don't. I'm telling you, I know me. I would have thrown it away. I would have been like, you know what? You can just keep that. You can just
yeah.
keep that right now. I don't even want it. It's yours.
Oh god.
Nasty ass people. No, thank you.
Mm-mm. I
No,
could just like because so when we went to Ghastly,
yeah.
I was like, oh, I miss this, and then your brain is just like sweat, people, everyone just like on and near you. You're like, man, fuck. Like COVID is in the back of my head, screaming. It's like, put your fucking mask on. That's not gonna help. Like, okay, you have a mask on, but you got 10 dudes standing around you, sweating, like rubbing up all on you and shit.
Yeah, yeah. They had. I remember when we went to that. Honestly, I do think they packed in that club. I think that
Oh,
was
absolutely.
way more than 50% capacity, dude. When I've said this before on here, I think, but when Florida opened back up, so there was a period, there was a brief like week after the lockdowns that they opened up like 100%, like for like a week. It maybe wasn't 100%, but
Pretty close.
well, okay. It was everything was open, but it was at like limited, quotations around it,
Yeah,
limited capacity. And of course, everyone and their mother went out. Like everyone did. Everyone wanted to. I'm just
of course.
straight how it is. Like I knew adults that were going out. Like, okay, I'm just saying. And I remember we went and I did go to the EDM club and swear to God, dude, I remember looking at around and I was like, this is way more than 50% capacity. Like I was like, this is not limited capacity. And then sure enough, like a week later, the state was like, yeah, we're limiting like that shit again. Like clubs are closed. Like you have to be like
Yeah.
nothing's open unless they serve food. Like that was ridiculous. Like it's the spike in a week was just massive. Like just it was ridiculous. And it was the stupidest thing they could have done. But like I don't even know if people know that. Like dead ass, it was like everything was dead ass just open. Like just like it was I don't know, like June 5th or something. June 5th, and it was things were open for a week, and it was just madness, and then
I was
back
gonna
to
say,
being
I
closed.
think Nashville shut down in June, maybe July.
What is it with everyone going to Nashville? What is it,
So,
man?
I mean,
Answer me
okay,
that.
so there's, let me see if I can put this on screen. There's Louisville, that's about an hour. No, it's probably about 3 hours, kind of like northeast of me.
Okay.
Then there's Nashville, and then there's Memphis.
Yeah.
So between those three, there's about 3 hours in between each. So there's not much in Tennessee that like you can do. So like Nashville is like pretty much where you go to.
Party.
Yeah, and dude, it's so fucking expensive.
It is. It is. I've been 3 times. It's. I mean, I love the city. I'll be honest with you. That is a place I think I could move to. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I get why people are going, but it seems like everyone on my feed, every girl I know is like in Nashville for some reason. Like, and it's out of the blue. Like they used to never go to Nashville. They just never did. Now it's like, oh, here we are on Broadway. Like, oh, like they're at the bars or the rooftop bars. They all got their cowboy hats on. They're fucking Southern for a week, and they're posting their pictures mid-pandemic. Like, oh, we're out. We're having a great time. Masks
Yeah,
up. Like, it's just wild to me. I knew people that were going to Nashville literally like 3 months ago. Like,
yeah. So they opened up under like a very strict like capacity um policy, I guess what you would call it. Um, so at first they're only letting 20 to 30% in, and then here within I don't know, I'd probably say about the last 3 months, they've opened back up to like 50 and 60%, and they've talked about kind of like what Texas did, where they just were like, "Fuck it, open everything." Tennessee's like kind of on the verge of doing that.
really, I didn't know that. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like being here in Florida, I truthfully don't know what we're at. I couldn't tell you. It feels like everything's 100%.
Yeah,
It feels like it. I think it is a limited capacity, but
but the limit is at their discretion.
I guess I really couldn't answer that. I don't know. Like it all seems like it's very just open. Like it's so weird. This whole like COVID conversation in general is really weird because like there's so many different segments and sectors of the country that like they all do things differently, and then they all like are yelling at the other side for doing something differently. For instance, like I'm in Florida. I have friends and family members here in Florida that are like, I can't believe California is shut down. Like, how dare they? They're shutting the whole state down. Yada yada yada. And I'm like, granted, I don't like that either, but it's a whole different side of the country. They do things entirely different over there. They elected their own officials. Did all this stuff. They do all these things differently. Let them do it their way, and then let's see if it works better. And if it works better, then maybe we listen and do what they're doing. And then vice versa of them. I have people on social media that are from California that are like bitching about Texas and Florida, and it's like y'all don't live there. It's
Yeah.
different. It's same, and it's the exact same scenario. Like let them do their thing, see about how it works and how it doesn't work, and go from there. I mean, that's all you can do. It's also weird that like now they're letting stuff open. Like news, like Gavin and all them were like, yeah, we're gonna open it up now, and after like no significant change in anything. But now it's okay all of a sudden. That's what's weird is like, okay, now they're gonna flip it.
Yeah. I mean, so I feel like now that they can publicly come out and say we are opening up to this degree.
Mm-hmm.
So the businesses that were already doing that prior to this announcement, they're not going to get fucked over because well now it's a public known thing that you can do such set capacity,
Yeah,
and everyone's so used to what they're around already that businesses can let in maybe 5, 10 more people to make it feel like they've upped their capacity.
that's true. That's true. Cheers. Cheers to have you on. Cheers to having you on. I have an empty can to dink it too. Dink. You know what I hate about it is though? Is like I feel like COVID really did expose some of the corruption and hypocrisy within our system.
Oh, yeah.
And it's out there. People know about it. And it's like there still hasn't been that much shit done about it. Like it's like so backwards to me. Like I think, and this is not like political against one side. This is like hating both left and right. Like
Yeah.
the senators that like profited off the dip, and a bunch of them like knew that there was going to be a crisis with COVID,
Yeah.
and they told some of their donors to like you should pull out your stocks and stuff like that to not lose your money.
Yeah.
Like they need to be punished. I hope they have. I know they had a court hearing. I don't know the results um off the top of my head, and we're not going to look it up because it's going to take too much time for me to type all that out. But like they should be absolutely punished. They should no longer be in office. And then
Yeah.
the other thing is like when you have mayors and governors that say one thing and do another, like if you're not going to follow your own guidelines, you should also be kicked out. Like gone. I don't care. Again, left or right. Fucking just to name everyone that like should be kicked out of office. Ted Cruz for leaving fucking Texas.
Absolutely.
Gone. You don't. I don't. I get that. Like, what can he do? Like he can't. Like, it is true. Like that's one. Like one of the arguments people give for when he like, oh, what can he do? What can one man do? And it's like that's not what we're saying. Like his job as a elected official is to just be there in a crisis situation, not leave.
Yeah.
Like
Act
that's
up and
literally his job. Like we
yeah.
voted him in for that reason. Now, that being said, as mad as I am at him for that, I'm also mad at like what is it? The mayor of Austin like made all these mandates, or is it Houston? I think it's Austin. Made all these mandates, and then as well vacationed in Mexico. Like you're gonna be rough on your city, and then you're gonna tell people don't leave your house. But then I'm gonna go to Mexico. That's also fucked up.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom fucking closed the state down, and then let his winery stay open. That's fucked up. Like it. And
That one.
there's levels on both sides. Like there's left and right. Like that's all I'm trying to say is like people need to stop like picking a fucking side and like sticking to it. Like they're both just as corrupt and like shitty. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
That's and everyone asks me what my political you know view is or opinion. I don't have one, mainly for the simple fact that, both parties are fucked up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
neither one of them are going to fix each other. Like, it's just going to be throwing shit at the other party constantly.
Yeah, I think it's so weird because I feel like the majority of people are in the middle. I really do. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah, they might lean like a little bit left on one issue. They might lean a little bit right on more issue, but predominantly they're like, yeah, I can go either way. And then there's like these two extreme groups on the left and right side that like have the biggest voice and then are just like yelling at each other and like bickering and fighting. You got Antifa on one side, you get the Proud Boys on the other, and they're just like both fighting. And then one has a louder voice because of the media being involved and like yada yada yada. And then that's us in the middle. That's like all we hear, and we're like, is this what it's become to? We have to pick between the two extremes, and like, is that what we have to do? And then that's what it seems like. I've talked to people that are like pretty middle of the way, and like they almost get radicalized because they're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to just stay in the middle? And it's like, yes, please stay in the middle. Like, don't venture to one way or the other. It's like the downfall, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean that, and it's funny because that's how they get, the people who are stuck in between. You know, they get, they do all this propaganda fucking work and all this other shit. They pump into the social media and into the news. And at that point, you're just like, well, fuck, this side's right, so maybe I'm with this side. It's just depending on what your view is on whatever like given situation is in the current events, because it's always changing. It's always something fucking different, keeping us distracted.
I mean, yeah, that is what it is. Down to like get it down to the bottom of it is like, yeah, it's all just one big distraction to keep us focused away from the other, shady shit that goes on, and they don't want us prying too much and all that stuff. Not to get
Mm.
conspiratorial, but I mean that's true. Like it's you'd rather us fight against each other than be together.
Oh, absolutely, because
Be-
they can come in and pick up the pieces and put everything back together.
yeah, and keep fucking the little guys over. I mean, like if we were all together, there's no way 320 million people could be silenced.
Yeah.
But if 65 million are up against another 65 million and they're fighting constantly and they don't see eye to eye, there's a lot of room for evil to sneak in there.
Oh yeah, and a civil war, back then was back then. Nowadays is totally different ball game. We have 200 years of war tactics between two different points.
Yeah.
Like
Do you ever
that, I could.
do you think it could ever get to that? Do you think it could ever get to that? Let's entertain the thought. Do you think it could ever
So,
get to that?
so do I think it could happen? I think somewhere along the line, yeah, maybe, but in a more realistic sense, no, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going on like a conspiratorial sense, ooh, that like doesn't even sound right. Anyways, people listen and understand. I would hope so. Um, if we're going a conspiracy route, how about that?
There we go. Little bunny
You
hole.
would think they don't want a civil war.
No.
Whoever they is, they want to just get it to the brink of it and then simmer it back down and then get it to the brink of it and keep dividing people. But like everyone stays in their lane and we just don't agree on anything. And they make it seem like no one agrees when in reality we do. But they never let it get like more than that. Like I think I truly believe the Capitol riot thing was like they were like, oh shit, like this could happen. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy for starters. I don't want to like get into it, but I mean we should maybe we'll touch on it, but like that was crazy.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a little too much.
Yeah, it was a lot more than I actually thought was gonna happen.
Dude, I remember being at work and I heard that. I was like, oh no. I literally, in my head, I was like, this is not good.
Yeah, no, uh I got a call from work and they're like, hey, you know, they just, stormed the Capitol. I was like, wait, okay, who's they, first off? And, why, where have I not heard about this yet? And, as soon as I get on my phone, it's like the first thing that pops up. And I'm like, oh, well, goddamn. And then, you come to find out that it's, you know, Trump supporters that are flooding, our Capitol building.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, how did that happen? Because like I saw the camera footage from the helicopter. I was like that's a lot of fucking people.
It was a lot of people, but it wasn't enough. This is what makes me laugh about it. This is like my comical side of things, my dark sense of humor. I'm like, it was a lot of people, but it wasn't enough people to really do anything. like it was enough to show some force, yeah, and like get into
Yeah,
the building, right? But it wasn't like 100,000 people mob in the city where like
no,
it would be difficult for the police and the National Guard and stuff to get in. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like a. I don't know how to make it. I mean, obviously we're again, regardless of what we're talking about here, like it was bad. It shouldn't have happened. Like however many people are involved,
yeah,
it shouldn't happen. But at the same sense, like you saw like how many people were outside the Capitol and like went in. And in my head, I was like, yeah, that's not good. And then like after the days went by and it was talked about and talked about more, and you saw more footage, I was like, it's not as many people. It was good. It wasn't as many people as it was. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, cause there's like when it gets like a big, like, for instance, like I'm not comparing the two here, but like the protests for Black Lives Matter were significantly bigger than
yeah,
than that protest.
yeah,
And if that protest was the size of those, then there could have been an issue. Just given
yeah,
just given the fact that they went into the Capitol with more numbers, not comparing the two in any sense, but yeah, and I mean, in a way, yes, it was small, and it's also just like I don't understand why they did. I don't understand why they stormed the Capitol. I don't even understand how people can defend the fact that they did that. Like I don't. There's like to me, I'm like okay, like I can sometimes lean right on things and see some of these Republican views, but like that's not what I'm about. Like I'm not
that's
about storming the
not the
Capitol, you
approach.
know?
Yeah, that's not the approach that I'm gonna take. Is let's march up to the Capitol building and just say fuck it and run on in.
Yeah, and like what did they think was gonna happen?
Like who wakes up and like, nope, I'm gonna go storm the Capitol building today.
I mean, I don't even. Yeah, I know for real. And like, but again, like, what did they think was gonna happen? Like, we're gonna stop this election steal. Like, I don't understand.
I honestly thought there would be a lot more bloodshed than there was.
I mean, yeah, thank God there wasn't. I mean, I don't want to see bloodshed on any side on any protest. I mean, on those protests, maybe it's a little more called for because you are storming the nation's capital.
Oh
But
yeah, that's
it
it's a security thing.
it is. Oh yeah, on that whole national security thing, it could have been a lot worse. It really could have. And I'm not negating the fact that it was bad. I just knowing like it could have been a lot. It just could have been a lot worse. I mean, there's no other way around to say that. I'm not. Again, and I keep repeating myself. I'm not negating the fact that it wasn't bad. It was bad. But yeah, it could have been way worse. It could have been a lot. Like you said, you were surprised there weren't as many deaths. It could have been a lot more. I think
Yeah,
it's crazy. I also don't like. I hate how both sides are so hypocritical, dude.
yeah,
Like they're so hypocritical. Both sides. Like, and I always hate how people can only see one side being hypocritical or the hypocrisy in one side.
yeah. Because well, they take their opinion and how they view that side as a whole. It kind of clouds them to be open minded to you know okay, so the opposite side might agree but have a different way that they would change it, and they're just like, no, 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 I don't want to hear it,
Yeah.
and it works both ways.
It does. It's crazy to me, like how both sides. That's a beauty, and also the worst part about. First off, when you're in the middle, you feel like you're alone because you're like these two sides are just screaming at each other, and I'm just here. But the beauty of being in the middle is that you see the hypocrisy in both sides, and you're able to make fun of both sides
Yeah.
and laugh at jokes at both sides. I mean, like, dude, man, one of my favorite things to do by far is like when I'm with a friend that I know is like straight Republican, I am making Democrat and liberal jokes the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm like hitting them on the shoulder. I'm like, hey, that buddy Joe Biden doing great, you know? And then I'm laughing about it, and he knows I'm messing with him. And then when I'm with my liberal friends, I'm like, hey, Trump's the best. Like, just like, just to piss him off. Like, it's just that's to me the best part about being in the middle is that like, you can just like have fun with both sides. And I mean, granted, there are some people like don't know how to like take a joke, but like, it's so to me that's the best part about being in the middle is like you can just rag on both sides, and you don't have any. You have nothing in the game, you're just like just chilling. They're like, "What are you gonna make fun of me for?" And that's the funniest part is when they try to like come at you with like something about the other side, like like you're messing with your liberal friend, and they're like, "Oh, Trump, blah blah blah," and you're like, "Yeah, I don't actually care. Like, I don't give a fuck about Trump. I don't give a fuck about Trump, but I don't give a fuck about Biden. Like, fuck them both."
It's fun to be in the middle because like you know, you can talk shit about everybody, even the liberals. It's like I hate both sides, but I fucking hate liberals. It's like fuck you guys.
I hate both sides, but I hate liberals. I mean,
More.
yeah, I hate both. Fuck them both. Fuck them both. I want some third party to come up and rise from the ashes. It needs to
Oh yeah.
happen. I feel like it could. Dude, that would be like the ultimate revenge plan. Is so like all these Republicans, right? All these Republicans turn their back on Trump because he lost the election, okay? And say the impeachment doesn't go through, so he's able to run again and all that shit. And he comes back next in 2024 and is like, I'm gonna run as an independent, and just fucks the whole system up. Like, I mean, that would literally
That'd be great.
that would blow people on the right would lose their mind, and people on the left would also lose their mind, and they would both be losing their minds in two different for two different reasons. Republicans gonna be like, oh my god, he's breaking the party, we're gonna lose the election, and the liberals are like, oh my god, he's handing us the election. Like, they're gonna like start praising him, like, oh my god, we're automatically gonna win. Like, oh my, it would be like the ultimate like F you Trump move. That literally like defines his character to
Oh
fucking
yeah.
like run as independent.
I can see it too.
I
Because
could
everyone
totally.
would be like, so he's not Republican? Huh, okay.
And then it's an episode of Punked by Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. Every time someone votes for him, you just walk through the next booth and it's just Ashton standing there.
One of my favorite vines was that where like the kid was like doing his test and he's like typing on the computer. It's like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got an A," and it was like F, and he was like, "Okay, where's Ashton Kutcher? Where are the cameras? Cause my ass is getting pranked." Like it was. Oh, the good old days of fucking Vine, dude. Now we got TikTok.
Yeah.
You like TikTok?
It's a it's a love hate relationship because like
You
I
have
can
it.
sit on it. Huh?
You have it. You have it. Is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I absolutely have it.
So go on and do tell this love hate relationship.
So some days I can sit there for hours mindlessly just going through the videos, not even take blink at the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then there's other days where like I open it, I watch two, and I'm like, okay, and then I go about doing whatever I was doing.
Yeah, I have days where like you're like what you just said. I'm like, and I just don't even go on it. And then I have other days where like I was sick like 2 weeks ago. I think I sat on fucking TikTok for like 4 hours one day when I was just sick. Like, it's uncalled for. It's not
Yeah,
necessary, but it
yeah.
was a
There's one
good four
time
hours. It was a good 4 hours.
it was like I don't know, like 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know what it was. Like I couldn't sleep, and so I'm just scrolling through, and I finally yawn, and I look back at the clock, and it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta be up in like an hour.
Dude, that's the worst, bro. Literally last night, I was just telling you this earlier. Last night, I got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Wasn't intentional. I literally was helping my friend move. So I live like, um, I was helping them move. They moved 2 hours away. I'm helping
Yep.
them move, and we finished at like 9:30, 10. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, if I go home now, I get home at 12, and then I'll get 5.5 hours of sleep. But if I stay and wake up at 4 and I go to bed right now, I get 7 hours of sleep. And I was like, that's an extra 2 hours. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna stay here and take my extra 2 hours, thinking I made a great decision for myself. And then I don't fall asleep, and I
Hmm.
basically get less hours than when I would have gone home. So it was like, what was the fucking point? And now it's just like maddening when you think you've made a good decision, then you still can't fucking sleep.
Oh yeah.
Do you have trouble sleeping?
Oh, well, I mean, so I used to a lot, mainly because like I have a lot of back issues, um, and
I didn't know that. Why do you have back? If you don't mind, why do you have back?
just over the past 6 years, the military really does put take a toll on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So the unit that I was with, we did like a lot of running. I mean, we're talking like 4 to 6 miles every morning,
Wow.
off every day, because well, we used to do like sports on Fridays, and then eventually that just kind of went away. So to replace that was more running. So between doing that and going to the field and doing like training for our job and just everything all together,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a really hard toll on your body, and everyone's different.
What was what was it like being in the military? I'm very curious.
Um, so I mean, for me, like I joined back at the end of um 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this like high school boot camp plan. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but so pretty much the summer between your junior and senior year, you go to basic training.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then you come back, you finish high school, that year of high school, and then after you graduate, you get your not get station. You go to goddamn your AIT, which is pretty much just like you can think of it as like a trade school where you
Okay.
specifically work on whatever job you were assigned. So like if you're a medic, you go do the medic AIT, classes and programs and shit like that. Um, like with me, I did artillery shit.
Ooh.
Pretty much just so we learned how to calculate, where they need to shoot, and um, just pretty much we're cartographers if you think about it.
Which is reading a map
Yeah,
to dumb it
yeah,
down. To dumb it down for
yeah.
a moron like myself. Um, okay, so you're training for being in an artillery uh, squad, brigade. What is it?
So it would be just and it's different. Like infantry, that's companies. With artillery, it's just a unit,
Okay.
and then between your unit, there's two platoons, and then within your platoons, you have a section.
So how many cannons are in a unit? How many
Generally
artillery cannons are in a unit?
six, generally.
So that's what, 2 platoons, 3 squads.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be 2 platoons and 3 sections.
I'm always fascinated at the structure of the military and how it's done. I've just always been ever since I was a kid. Like I love the like I love all I do. I have so much. I have such a high respect for people that are in the military, like yourself and others. It's something that I always wanted to do, and then I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I highly respect you guys for doing it, regardless of what your position is. Just this is also just for people that are listening, like whatever your position is. Like I don't care if you're in the military and you're a cook. Like it's you might be cooking on the front line. Like I don't care.
They matter too.
um,
Not as much, but they matter too.
no, I mean I know.
Dude,
So
honestly, like most of the cooks that I've met are just either generally like really funny or like they're assholes. It's one of the two.
I feel like that's the vibe they give is like this. They trying to be like some of them are trying to be funny, but they're just being assholes.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like they're all trying, they're all funny, but they're trying to be funny. Some of them are trying to be funny too much, and they're coming across assholes. I feel like that's the same way, dude, in the restaurant industry. I don't know if you've ever done anything in the restaurant industry, but like all the cooks I've ever worked with, dude, were just funny as fuck. And I don't know if it's just because they've been through shit or something. Like I don't know what it is, dude, but like you got a point, dude. Cooks are just funny. Like sometimes they just are. They're just funny as fuck.
yeah.
They're always complaining.
Oh yeah,
They're always
yeah.
complaining.
Especially because like occasionally whenever we do like a training event, they'll send somebody to do KP, which is just like kitchen duty.
Mm-hmm.
So you go there and you're pretty much the cook's bitch for however long they have you. So you're over there scrubbing pots and shit for I don't know like 4 to 6 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's don't ever get put on KP. That is horrible. But it's funny because the cooks they keep you entertained.
What so you described a little bit what it's like to be like in the military. How was it like going through basic and going away and being stationed where you had to be stationed and stuff like that?
So basic training, at the time was like kind of a pain in the ass. Like you'd wake up and you knew you didn't want to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but you know I don't know how it is for most people, but I was like, I'm already fucking here. Like let's just keep doing this day by day.
Yeah.
And if I graduate, I graduate. If I don't, fucking I tried.
What walk me through that mindset of like I'm here, I'm just gonna do it. Like
So
like
like honestly, you just get thrown in. Like you go on this long ass bus ride. You go to the airport, you take your flight, you don't get in till damn near like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Then you take another hour bus ride for me, uh, it was an hour from the airport. So, we're all on the bus, tired. It's, damn near almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And you have these drill sergeants that, come out, and it's kind of like what you see on movies and stuff like that. They come on the bus, they start yelling and shit, you know,
mm-hmm.
uh, they can't get physical with you. And I feel like that's a very large misconception with people who are like looking to join. They're like, oh, the drill sergeants can, beat me up or whatever. No,
Hmm.
you know. Um, so, you get tossed in, filling out all this paperwork, and you don't really have any time to think. You just kind of you zone out. And you just do what you got to do, and that's how it is like 90% of the time. Because I mean, there was one point where I was like, I can't remember what we were doing, and I was standing there, and it clicked. It finally clicked, and I was like, holy shit, I'm in basic training right now. and it's already like week 5. Like most of the time, it's just it gets so repetitious that you just wake up, do your training, sleep, eat, go to bed for
Yeah.
the 2 hours that you have, and you just do it day in, day out, day in, day out.
It's like you're in that groove, and then your mindset of like, I'm just here. I gotta just do what I gotta do, and I'm gonna be
Yeah,
fine and get through this. It's interesting though because like I think that's such not all the time, but there are times where like that's so necessary in any situation in life, like not even just boot camp, like there's times where like you're in school and for those that can relate to that aspect of life and you go into school and like you got 6 exams, not six, but like, you got like 2 exams and one, on the same day and they're coming up and they're hard. They're the hardest classes you got to take all semester. And like that mindset is so crucial in that point alone of just like, I just gotta do it. Like I just gotta get to it and get through it, and it's gonna end. And and is that part of it too for you? Was it like you just knew like it's gonna end, like it's gonna end?
yeah.
I just got I'm good. Like
And so okay, so like that, yes, so that definitely played like a big factor in it, because like within your basic training, it's like 9 weeks.
yeah,
Um, there's 3 phases that you go through, and pretty much like after day 0, because you have a day 0 and a day 1. So your day 0 is like all the admin bullshit.
of course.
You don't
Yeah.
sleep for like the first 36 to 48 hours that you're there, and you're going through the in processing uh, portion of it, and this is before you're even in basic training like itself. you know you After you do your little spiel, you go and you literally pick up fucking uniforms and like gear and shit. You go back to your barracks, and then you go sit in more like meetings and more classes, and then eventually like you know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell, like we haven't slept, we barely ate anything. They give you this one like boxed meal, and you just kind of like pick through it throughout the day pretty much. And then you get your hair cut, beautiful buzz cut. They they snap your picture. You're not even in like a uniform yet, you just put on this overcoat, and they put the PC on you, and they snap the picture for your initial like entry
Mm-hmm.
to the military, and then you take it off and you get the fuck back in line.
And that's day one. That's the administration bullshit, or day one, two administration bullshit. And then how from there? How do the phases go up? You were telling us about the phases and how like it starts out.
Yeah, so you'll sit in reception for about a week, until a class can like open up, because those drill sergeants are on a training cycle. So they stay with one class until it ends.
Okay.
You have to wait there in reception until one of the those classes graduates, and then the drill sergeants are available. So you wait for that, and then you go and you do it's called the shark attack. You get off the bus from reception into basic training, and you're holding your duffel bag above your head, and they're all up in your face screaming and shit. It's honestly not that bad. Like, if you just like zone out and just like drown out everything around you, they really don't fuck with you that much.
So you were talking about the different phases though, and how it starts in phase one, phase two, and ends in phase three,
Yeah.
and how that your mindset carried you through that. So I'm just curious, like, what are the phases, and why was it that mindset of yours was so important?
So, like I was saying with the shark attack, where you kind of blend everything out. So the first phase is all they're gonna be in your shit 24/7, like no matter what. And then you get to phase 2, which I think was like blue phase. I honestly can't remember. Yeah, it was white, blue, and then red phase. Um, and then once you get into blue phase, they kind of calm down a little bit. You can start asking questions without getting chewed out. And then once you get to, or I think I have the reverse. I think it's white phase, red phase, and then blue phase. It's been a minute. Anyway, so
Yeah,
once you get to
6 years, man.
the last phase, they pretty much become an instructor more than a drill sergeant.
Oh, okay.
So you can like actually like talk to them and be vocal, but with
With respect.
with the due respect.
Mm-hmm.
So they work with you more and they're not up your ass all the time. You're not getting in trouble as much. You know, but
So, what is it with that mindset though, and that mentality that helped you get through those phases? That's what I
I
was
mean,
asking.
yeah. So I mean, like, so with the mindset of just kind of like drowning everything out, you, I mean, you physically are there, but your brain hasn't like caught up yet. You haven't realized that like you've been doing this for this long, and that you're like, fuck, like I'm almost done. If you just, and everyone's different because I've seen people go in with me and they let their mind run wild. They miss home, they miss, fucking Becky from the trailer park. Like, they lose focus of what's at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, they get in trouble or, something, they get hurt or whatever.
Something
And then
gives. Something gives because their mind's not fully there.
yeah.
It's
And that's the
scatterbrained.
thing is like with me, like I completely numbed everything out. My mind was blank at all times. Like I just on autopilot, just go, go, go. Like don't think about it, just go. Just do it. And just, I wasn't present mentally. And it was good because, there was a lot of things that you did that were, excuse me, very strenuous on your body and on your mind.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So, you have uh like live grenade throwing, you have the gas chamber, you have, rifle ranges, you have this shit called Nick at Night. Um, Pretty much it's, moving under fire at night. So, you're in this big open sand pit, on your stomach under barbed wire. There's, artificial mortar rounds going off. They're shooting live rounds above your head, and you just, and it kind of helps. And going back,
Mm-hmm.
mindset of just go, like don't think about it, just go. Like you can really push your body to do whatever you want it to do.
If there was one thing that you took away from your basic training in your time in the military, what was it?
Um, Probably just the friendships and you meet all kinds of people, from all parts of the world
Yeah.
or from the country, and it just making those bonds with people and being so close to someone as if they were your own family. That's the one thing that I take from the military is that like I got to do all these great things
Mm-hmm.
and all these shitty things, but most of all I got to do with people that you know I cared about and that cared about me.
Yeah.
You know go down, and lay down rounds, and cover my back.
Did it show you really, in a sense, what true, uh, true brotherhood and what, I don't know if friendship is the word, but did it show you kind of like what good friends, like what
Well,
qualities a good friends would have, and Is that something, given what you just said, that you carry on into your now civilian life? Is that what they call it? I'm not sure, but like so
Yeah,
into your
pretty much.
civilian life and in moving forward with people you meet and encounter, is that something you carry on with you? You now you have this idea of friendship and a brother's bond. Do you also look for that now that you're out?
Yeah, and it makes it easier to connect with people and just be more open minded. So being more open minded to the other person in a sense, and understanding just the situation
Mm,
and everything that's going on. Because you meet people from California, and you kind of have to use both cultures and see like what you can do as a person to you know actually like get along with people.
mm. So did it, in a sense, does it let you like? Can you see through fake people in a sense? Can you see through like the bullshit of people?
I wouldn't say all the time, but yeah, there's a good couple times.
Yeah. There's some times where you're like, fuck that person.
You can tell when people are being shady and
Hmm.
just not really upfront with you.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that would be almost heightened for you because it's like, I mean, for real, like you're in the middle, you're with this unit of people, and it's like, yeah, you're kind of like, yeah, you're put in the unit, but like you can tell they're being real enough, right? It's
Yeah,
like you say in boot camp, you had the simulation with the fake with the mortar rounds and the gunfire overhead, and it's like all you had next, all you had was really yourself, and then maybe the person next to you if they were helping or not. I don't know how that goes down if it's individual or not, but um
it's about like 85% individual.
yeah, I mean you did mention how like it showed you how far the human mind can, how you can far you can push yourself. And that's something I would take away, I think myself, is that like there's a lot more we think we can do than we really can.
Yeah.
And is that another quality that you take with you from the military? Like I can do a lot more than I think I can, type of thing, or even deal with a lot more than I think I can deal with.
Yeah,
Whichever
because I
way.
mean, there's been plenty of times where something's happened, and either it's something got fucked up and we have to stay up all night trying to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
or we have to stay on a certain mission for I mean, there's been times where we've stayed up damn near 96 hours, and you know when you think about it, you're like, there's no way somebody could do that, but we did. Like we found our inner strength to just push ourselves to get to that next hour, or that next mission.
Do you think Do you think you would have known that if it wasn't for like basic training pushing you at first at that point a little bit, or do you think that's just within everybody and it just has to kind of be like unlocked, like in whatever scenario it may be, and maybe today's society we don't necessarily unlock that full potential in ourselves because we do have it easier than most, I would
Yeah.
say.
I would definitely say it's based off of like a personal experience. Um, whatever situation it might be that the person gets into,
Hmm.
but they eventually they find the willpower to just push. And I mean, it could be as much as lifting a certain equipment, or passing a PT test. It's just that they found within themselves to push to do better for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great quality for anybody to have. In general, I think it's also very hard for us, as I've looked back, I think it's very hard for anyone to unlock that. it's very easy. It's a lot easier to just give up, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we do all have it within ourselves to not give up and to be able to push through stuff, um, even when it seems super hard. I mean, in any scenario, physical, emotional, psychological stuff. There's all sorts of different scenarios that one can pull up, and we don't think we'll make it out, and we can. Um, yeah, I think it is. I think it's important that people realize that like we are a lot more capable of stuff than we think we are. You know, it's just hard to like unlock that.
Yeah, and
It's
it not everyone, has a situation that unlocks that, you know, uh, that sense. Because there are a lot of people that do give up halfway through basic because it's too hard, or whatever it may be. Um, but there are some people who make it through basic training but get to their real unit and they still don't have that drive.
mm. Did you have a passion for this? Like, what is it that made you go into the army? Did you always want to? Did you choose to, and then you were like, I like it, and I'm gonna stick with it for a little bit, or what was the original way? Like, how did you get? Like, how did it all go down?
So originally I joined with, um, because I came from a small family and we didn't have much money growing up. So I was like, if I'm going to get into college, either I need to get scholarships or join the military.
Mm,
And my parents were like, "Oh, you'll never join the military. It's just, it's not something that we think that you could do." Which, as parents, kind of shittiest thing to say, but um, so the scholarship that I did get didn't cover everything. It covered like a couple semesters, and then that was pretty much it.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, fine, I'll do whatever the scholarship can do, and then I just got to figure it out. Either work or go to the army. And I tried the Air Force first, but they were booked up, so they already signed enough people. And then, actually, hold on, I gotta run that search real quick.
All right, man. We'll pause it right here for part one.
All right.
Peace.